Hello and good afternoon, wonderful, wonderful faithful of the Hamilton Catholic Pastoral Region. It's good to be with you again. And I'm not in public. There's only one other person here, so I will remove my mask. But it is to let you know that I too am taking precautions when I'm out in public and for large gatherings. You know, I share with you that, you know, I'm breathing a little bit easier. It has nothing to do with the mask. I'm just breathing a little bit easier, knowing that the faithful can again come to the altar. So beginning May 25th, the public masses will resume. However, it is important to note that it's not going back to the way things were before. We're not going back to how things were before. We are keeping the social distancing. We're asking you to wear masks. There's also a change to the mask schedule, and I'll get to the mask schedule at the end. And just to make this a better transition, you know, this video is just to share with you how things are going to be a little bit different when masses begin again. But what is the same is that our loving God comes to us truly and is in our midst, and we come to him at the altar during the celebration of Mass. So what should you expect when you come back to Mass? Weekday Masses beginning May 25th, or Sunday Masses beginning Saturday, May 30th, and Sunday, May 31st. Again, we are keeping the physical distance, so the seating, in general, the seating will be every third pew, and with one household at each end of the pew. At St. Peter's and St. Julie's, you're able to have, if it's singles or a couple, if there's only one or two people, they can fit 3 to a pew. But that's one obvious change. Another is, we are asking that you wear masks for the protection of all those present, for the others who are gathered there. During the coronavirus is very contagious, primarily through the water in our breath as we exhale. And so the masks do help to keep others safe. We do expect you to wear masks when attending Mass. Some of the things from before are from the last weekend or two before Masses were suspended. We also are still in place. So there's no holy water at the entrances, although you might be able to take some home for your house, for your domestic church. No families are bringing up the gifts. The gifts stay close to the altar, where just the priest or the server is handling them. There's no receiving from the chalice by the faithful. There's no holding hands at the Our Father, and the sign of peace is omitted during this time. What are some of the things that the priest will be doing different? Well, in general, the priest will process in and out from the sacristy and not up the center aisle of the church. So that'll be a shorter procession. And the priest might or might not be greeting the faithful after Mass. That's kind of a judgment call. And if he greets the faithful after Mass, it's likely that he'll have a mask on. Hosts, the hosts, the bread that's brought forward, the hosts that are consecrated to be distributed to the faithful will be to the side on the altar. They won't, rather than directly in front of the priest, as he says the Eucharistic prayer over the gifts. And the priest will use hand sanitizer after the fraction rite, shortly before distributing Holy Communion to the faithful. The priest might remain in the sacristy after Mass. You know, that's especially true for priests over the age of 60. But as Father Richmond has said many times, and as I've said, we do miss you. And we look forward to having you with us again. And the priest will not have a server, or the priest might have one adult server assisting at the altar. So then that's what the priest will be doing different. What will you be doing different? Well, the first is, we do ask that you wear a mask to protect those around you, and to some extent to protect the priest. We will give masks to those who do not have one to be used during that day, but we hope that that won't be necessary, that you have your own mask that you're already wearing in public areas. Some entrances will be closed because there's just some, seating is a little different. It's not all entirely open. We want to have hand sanitizer and ushers at the doors. That not all the entrances will be open. This will make it easier to have the masks and the hand sanitizer available at all entries. It also allows us to have fewer ushers or greeters, and it enables them to do more in facilitating those who are adjusting to some of the things that are done differently. And so here at St. Julie's, we'll be using the entrance, so the side entrance by the Fenmont, and the center doors from the main entrance on Dayton Street. The other side door, the side door by 2nd Street and Markham Park will remain closed. At St. Joseph, the side door will remain locked, and so you'll be entering St. Joseph through the main entrance, the center doors, the main entrance of the church. And at St. Peter's, the door from Liberty Avenue will be locked. The main entrance, you'll use the main entrance or the side entrance from the alley behind the school. Again, that just helps to communicate seating so that we can care for one another. However, you will still be able to leave through any of those doors. There will be less singing in masses during this time. There still will be singing, and we encourage you. We'd love to have you sing with us for the parts that are sung, but I do anticipate there being less singing at our masses. The communion procession will be different. So this is kind of a big one, an important one to be aware of. For the communion procession, there will only be one line coming up the aisle, as opposed to two, since we couldn't have two lines that are 6 feet apart. And then when they get to the altar, when they get to the front of the church, they'll go to two distributors that are 6 feet or more apart, probably 8 feet apart. With there being only one line coming up the center aisle, we will have the communion procession. All of the faithful who are seated on the left side of the church will approach the altar first, and when they have received, those who are on the right side of the aisle will come forward to receive Holy Communion. And then just a heads up that you would be mindful as you leave. What I mean by be mindful is don't leave articles in the pews. They'll be thrown out. If articles of lesser value, and also don't congregate inside the church. I know we're eager to speak with the friends that we've missed, and you might be able to do that more safely in the parking lot. But don't congregate in the church, so others may leave the church and not to congregate where you would have those gatherings where it's more likely to transmit the illness. Also, it might be a good time to develop a habit of offering a prayer of thanksgiving after Mass ends before you depart, so as to space the departure after Mass. But now we come to the meat of it. What is really going to require adjustment for some or many of you. And that is, we did have to adjust the Mass schedule to accommodate the physical distancing. And so we adapted the Sunday Mass schedule, but we also extended the daily Mass schedule. The first concern was to be able to offer 2 Masses in Spanish at noon or just before noon on Sundays. And that means that English Masses can begin no later than 10:30 a.m. in order for the celebrant from the English Masses to also be available for a Spanish Mass. The musician for St. Julie's also plays the Sunday Mass at St. Joseph. So St. Joseph will have Mass at 10:38 a.m. and St. Peter's at 10 a.m. The obligation to attend Mass on Sundays is still waived by the Archbishop. So with that in mind, there will be only one earlier Mass, and that is 9 a.m. at St. Julie's. So one big difference is we will not have the 8 a.m. Mass at St. Peter's going forward. Since there is no 8 a.m. Mass at St. Peter's, the Saturday afternoon Mass will be celebrated at St. Peter's, and that will begin at 4:30 p.m. So our Saturday afternoon Mass will be 4:30 p.m. at St. Peter's, and St. Joe's will continue with their 5:15 Mass during the time of the pandemic and physical distancing. So to sum up, the weekend schedule looks like this. On Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Mass at St. Peter and Chains with confessions beforehand, and 5:15 p.m. at St. Joseph. On Sunday, 9 a.m. at St. Julie's. That Mass we do anticipate will be live streamed for those who continue to remain at home to take precautions. 10 a.m. at St. Peter's, 10:30 a.m. at St. Joseph's, and then 11:45 Mass and noon Mass in Spanish at St. Julie's, one Mass in the church and the other in the Fenmont. Don't worry, you'll receive an email and also a physical mailing, with the new schedule times as well. So be looking for that. And with the physical mailing, you could even put that on your refrigerator as a reference for our new Mass schedule. Some parishioners, with the weekday Masses, the big change is that there are two Masses each day. So some parishioners who are at high risk of complications and more severe symptoms if they contract COVID-19 might not feel comfortable being at a public gathering for Sunday Mass. The Archbishop Schnurr understands this, and that is his motivation in continuing to dispense with the Sunday obligation at this time. Oftentimes, weekday Masses have less attendance and therefore less risk. Our pastoral region will have 2 public Masses each day, although sometimes one of the 2 Masses will be in Spanish. Please see the bulletin for the weekday Mass times or the mailing that you will receive. There will be a noon Mass on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, a noon Mass at St. Julie's. There will be an 8 a.m. Mass on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Mass at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday. Evening Masses will be at 7:30, in Spanish on Monday and Friday, and in English on Thursday nights. Again, see the bulletin for the times and locations. So I thank you for your patience in going through these instructions. We want it to be, we don't want all of the different things to prevent you from being present to the Lord when you come back to God's house, to be close to God, to worship God, and to receive from Him the bread of life. I want to take this opportunity just to also encourage you, if you or a family member is in the hospital, please call the parish office and let us know. I have been informed that at Fort Hamilton Hospital, residents are allowed to have 1 visitor each day. So that's family or clergy. The residents at Fort Hamilton Hospital are allowed to have 1 visitor, and so a priest can visit them. It might mean the family can't visit that day, but we want to be able to be with you, and or just to pray with you if they want the family members present. To pray for those who are sick, and to continue to place our trust in our good God. He is with us still, and we can rejoice that the faithful will be with us again for Mass. Again, the first public Mass, Mass that's open to public, will be noon Mass at St. Julie's on Monday, May 25th, when we commemorate Memorial Day. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.